From Nutrien Ag Solutions, this is Senior Meteorologist Andrew Pritchard with your Canadian Prairie weather story for Monday, November 1st, 2021. Welcome to November. We are starting on the cooler side if you're in the west. Portions of central, southern Alberta, western and southwestern Saskatchewan starting off the day anywhere from -8 to -15 this morning, a little closer to the freezing mark as you head off toward the east across portions of central and southern Manitoba. The reason for that, we got a big trough, a big area of low pressure here sitting just off to the east. Good flow out of the north. We are finally bringing some colder air into the region. It is going to be temporary though. Expect a warming trend as we head deeper into the week. Drier conditions for much of the week as well. We start off looking at the radar picture here on Monday morning. No precipitation across the region other than maybe some very light showers, perhaps a couple snowflakes flying through the air across portions of southeast Saskatchewan into southern Manitoba. That'll be the theme here for the next couple of days. Again, with that big area of low pressure here just south of the Hudson Bay. Flow coming out of the north. Just expect maybe some colder conditions here, some light showers, maybe a couple flurries as we head through the early part of the week. You can see that here with the high-resolution NAM model across the west, central and southern Alberta, southwest Saskatchewan, where we are the coldest. We'll have the clearest skies here. Again, that's helped us to cool down here. Those clear skies allow things to cool down a little bit more efficiently. So you'll get the benefit of the sunshine here, even though it's a little bit on the cooler side across the west. And then in the east, more in the way of cloud cover, a little bit warmer, but dealing with some of those dreary showers, maybe a couple snowflakes as we head through, again, the next 24 to 48 hours. We'll see that as you animate things here. By the time we get to Wednesday, clear skies, high pressure spreading across the entirety of the prairie. It should be a wonderful mid to late week. Here's Thursday, maybe a couple clouds in the west, but generally dry, quiet, and warming conditions as we head through the week here across the prairie. Next 3.5 days of precipitation as we take it Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday into midday Thursday. Again, just some very light precipitation possible in the east, talking about eastern Saskatchewan, central and southern Manitoba over the next 24 to 40 hours. Just very light showers, maybe a couple snowflakes, not expecting much in the way of actual measurable precipitation as we head through the next couple of days. As we look at the NAM on the left, the European on the right, both of which taking it Monday through midday on Thursday. On the right here, you see the European a little bit more pronounced with that shower activity. You can see it kind of rotating around the backside of that low off to our east, but you see those amounts there, very negligible. We're talking about, not even a full millimeter here being advertised. So just light, maybe some gloomy conditions here over the next 24 to 36 hours. Now, we look at the next 10 days, we're seeing a bit of a change here. You see a storm system obviously tracking through central portions of the prairie provinces there, with chances for at least a light shot of precipitation across the entirety of the region. A lot of this coming next week. We'll break it down here the next 5 days on top, days 5 to 10 on the bottom there. You can see the widespread dry conditions over the next 5 days. And then as we head into the November 5th through the 10th time frame, again, over the back half of the weekend into next week, we'll start to see an active pattern try and nudge its way back in here. And what's going on is, take a look at the high pattern here, 500 millibars, looking at the mid-levels of the jet stream. You can kind of see the flow here coming around the base of a big trough here off the Pacific. We see a building ridge of high pressure across western Canada. And then here's that stubborn low off to our east that's got the flow coming out of the north right now early this week. That's what's allowing the colder conditions here to come in. That's what's also keeping the dreary light showers, maybe light snowflakes here across eastern portions of the prairie as well. Kind of this omega shape here, the trough, ridge, and trough pattern. Now, as we head through the next few days, taking it into midweek here, this is Wednesday. You see that ridge of high pressure building across the prairie provinces. That's what's going to allow temperatures to warm and keep us on the drier side as we head through the next week. Now, here's what happens as we get into the back half of the weekend, early next week. This trough across the Pacific starts to make its way east, enough so that we start to fling short waves, little pieces of that trough into the region, again, as we get into the weekend and next week. You can see that happening here, first piece there. And then as we get into the early part of next week, that's when it looks a little bit more robust as we talk about the signal for organized storm systems, organized precipitation, and maybe more robust precipitation signals. But again, a lot of this in the days 5, 6, and really beyond into days 7 and 10, where we got a little less confidence in the specifics of how this is gonna, shake itself out. And when we're talking about next week, that means we'll have a chance for another weekly video here even between then. So We'll take a look at the wind speeds here at the mid-levels, 500 millibars. Bringing it back here, again, we're just kind of watching this ridge slide over the region as we head through the week this week. So the next 5 days are going to be on the drier side. More in the way of sunshine, and we'll see those temperatures starting to become a little bit more mild as well as we head toward the back half of the week. And then again, we'll have to watch how the specifics shake out, but as we get into the weekend and into early next week, we start to see a very pronounced signal right there for more in the way of short waves and organized systems to begin rotating around the base of that trough off the Pacific and into Western Canada. So the precipitation forecast that goes along with all of this, again, the trough off to the west, ridge of high pressure moving in over the prairie, and then that trough across the east, allowing some showers, maybe some flurries to rotate around the backside over the next couple of days. So here's what that looks like. Again, here's your prairie provinces, Alberta, Saskatchewan, Manitoba. All right, if I click, we're going to click off the map there. So let's go through here Monday into Tuesday. We start to see those flurries and light showers pull away from Manitoba, giving us dry conditions region-wide as we head into Wednesday, Thursday, and then we get a little less confidence here in the dryness as we get into Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. That's when we'll start to see at least some disorganized opportunities for precipitation slipping into the region. And then by the time we get to the back half of the weekend, early next week, we're likely going to be talking about more in the way of organized storm systems sweeping into the region. I'm kind of just flowing through November 8th here. It's getting in November 9th. 10th. So we'll see how this shakes out, but across the prairie, you've got reliably dry conditions here over the next 5 days. Temperature is going to be trending warmer over the next 5 days as well. We'll compare the Euro on the left, GFS on the right. Again, differences here, both of which, though, starting to introduce organized storm systems early next week. Look at the temperature pattern here. First 5 days on the left, the days 5 through 10 on the right. Again, you can see mild conditions spreading into the region, especially in the east as we start to build that ridge in. So your next 10 days, some of our select cities here, Calgary warming up from a high of 1 today to 13 degrees on Thursday afternoon. Edmonton, a similar warm up here as we head into the late part of the week and into the weekend. Saskatoon, you'll head for a high of 10, 11 degrees on Thursday and Friday. You do see the cooler trend as we head into next week that accompanies that pivot back into a potentially more active pattern as the ridge moves out and that trough begins to nudge closer to Western Canada. Regina, very similar look. 0 for the high today, 10 degrees on Thursday, 11 on Friday, cooling back off next week. Similarly, in Winnipeg, 3 for the high today and tomorrow, all the way up to 10 degrees as we get into the weekend, likely cooling back off as we head into next week. So for the next 5 days, dry, warming up across the region. This weekend into next week, probably cooling back down with more in the way of organized precipitation and storm systems to talk about. Have a great start to your week.